Well, I'll move that we go past our allocated 6 hours. You're happy to second, Councillor Scott? Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. You bring that up after not being here yesterday. You bring that up. That is an own goal. That is an uppercut. Water management.
Yeah, again, it's not one that I've written, but
sorry.
So the identification of outstanding freshwater bodies, so that's a process that Council's undertaking a change to its regional policy statement. So that's in train. Catchment-based planning, so we already have quite a comprehensive science program to inform decision-making. Tanks are a very good example of that. And we've already discussed the implications of the Board of Inquiry decision around Change 6, and therefore we don't understand those fully at the moment, so we don't know what the future is until the final decision is out. And I just also note that yes, I did read support from DHB and the Tank Collaborative Group towards the ongoing science investigations.
Questions, please. Meeting's over here. Councillor Bevan, you have a question? Yeah, I've well worked that out. You have a question, Councillor Bevan? Any questions on water management? There was no indication to change the annual plan. Is someone happy to move then that there was no change to the annual plan? Happy to move and happy to second. Thank you. Wish to speak? Wish to speak further? Thank you. Time to yours. Anyway, I'll put that motion, and all those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, no. That is carried. Council Shared Services.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Graham brought this up in her written submission, but didn't actually elaborate on it in that, and I'd hoped she might. So a little bit more, perhaps, even about what she sought yesterday when she presented, but she didn't. So I'm going to assume that she's not seeking any change to the annual plan.
Can I move that
Happy to second. Further discussion? There being none, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. You can speak to this next one, Councillor Barker. Public transport. We had a very interesting discussion on this. I'm not sure it's an annual plan discussion, but Chief Executive.
About reinstating the express service is probably the... I mean, other points that were made are relevant and can be dealt with outside of the annual plan as part of our normal business as usual anyway. But the particular issue that was spoken to was around Ms. Briasco's submission around the express bus service and the reinstatement of that. I was hoping Anne Redgrave was here earlier, but is gone. I wonder, Mr. Chairman, if I might just... if you might move on and talk about one or two others, will I just go and call her to come over? I think it would be useful for her to be here because, the whole decision around why it was cut was important.
I'm not familiar with that.
Excuse me, are you happy to lead us on that discussion?
I'm happy to lead on this discussion. There's two things I think to make a point about this. Firstly, it's great to see that there's good input from the public about this issue, and it's great to see that public transport's increasing. All of those things are all positives. The fact was that when we looked at, we had too much pressure on the Route 12, I think it was. People were being left behind. And we had another bus route, the expressway, where there was hardly about 4 or 5 people on it. And what we simply decided to do was to shift the express bus onto the route that was overloaded. Now, we had to do that because we had no extra money to put another bus on, so we did it within our current resources, and it worked really well. I'm happy to move a motion that we maintain the annual plan as this, but I have one question. it seemed to me to be a very clunky process whereby we come to the regional council, full council, with a recommendation on changing a bus route. Now, this may be the structure is that it is, but I think it should be changed because I believe managers should manage. Yeah? We're here about governance, and we should set out what it is we expect and let managers to put in. So I would like us to find a way in which we can, the council sets out what the policy is, its expectations, and then leave the managers to go and manage, because it took about 4 or 5 months before we got the change in the bus route. And I thought this was ridiculous. It should have been done much more quickly.
Can I answer that on the basis that it has to come here to this round because there may be cost implications? I mean, you did outline yourself that the challenge was there was no extra money and you had to try and work it in. And I think that's why it comes here first and foremost. Is if we decided we're going to reinstate that thing tomorrow, we're going to have to pay for it. And that is a challenge. Clunky as it may be, if there is a potential cost implication, that's why it comes here. So,
I get that. If there was going to be a cost implication, quite right, it should have come here. But there was no cost implication. This is all done within baselines, and all we're doing is juggling the buses and the times around within the existing framework. And I think we should let the managers get on to optimise the routes as best they understand. That's my feeling.
Perhaps I could. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I want to comment on that because I disagree with Councillor Barker. I mean, well, the process was a really good process. I think you've possibly got their numbers wrong in your committee. You know, you've averaged numbers. We had
Mr. Chairman, shall I put a motion on the table because we're into debate.
Yeah,
well, we are. And Councillor Barker was happy to move no change to the annual plan. You're happy to second that?
No change.
And we've had our and now Councillor Grant.
Oh, thank you very much.
And now, may I speak as seconder?
Of course.
I'll wait. I'm very patient.
Order. Let our colleagues speak, please.
Mr. Chairman, the public have got 2 chances of coming and having a say on this. One is to the public transport strategy, which is heard by the committee of the Transport Committee, and the other is to the annual plan. And this is the public's chance to come and have a say. And we're here to actually hear their concerns. So it doesn't matter whether it's a minor concern or a major concern. It's the public's chance to be listened to. We've just been talking very much about communication. I don't care how clumsy it is. It's their chance to come and have a say. In this particular instance, I would actually suggest, although I'm supporting no change, that they be advised as to when the date of the next public transport strategy is. Clearly there are a reasonable number of people who have been affected by this, and they need a chance to have input into a subsequent planning process which involves public transport. So we have to accept the fact that we were advised that the numbers overall didn't support it. Decisions have been made. Buses were reallocated within that budget, and there isn't any provision within that now to increase the service. But I do think that we should be mindful of their right to be heard on this and their concerns, and be advising them that they should be submitting on the next round of public transport strategy.
Thank you. No, moved and seconded. You're up.
Well, Councillor Scott stole my thunder very brilliantly, actually. I feel that it was very much part of the democratic process. I enjoyed her submission. There's actually was 27 people on that bus, and not only that, they picked up the kids in Napier that wanted to go to Napier, kids in Hastings that wanted to go to Napier school, so it was a full bus back. There were only 4 on the bus from Hastings to Napier. That was her point. And if you've averaged those, well, you've got 2 half-empty buses. But what I would like to do is accept this, and that the Transport Committee look at this situation and see if they can be a little bit creative and solve it.
No further speakers. Order. No further speakers. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. The contrary, no. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next submission on page 32 is the one from the Hawke's Bay District Health Board. I'm sorry I wasn't actually in the room when Dr. Jones presented his, but just looking at the report here, I note they've certainly support our funding assistance for unserved communities and for continued development of the contaminated sites database. They have requested cross-referencing to a lifetime of good health and wellbeing in the strategic planning outcomes, which has been recommended by staff, and an explanation was given to them about the RMA monitoring and reporting cycle.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that. No change to the annual plan, and
yeah,
there is change.
Yeah, number 2 would be a change to the annual plan. Yeah.
A change to the annual plan, inserting the following.
Inserting that, yeah. Okay.
I'll second that.
Happy with that? Okay. Further discussion.
Question: so make a lifetime of good health and well-being mandatory, possible for all people?
There's no answer there. I need to think about that after 5 o'clock, Councillor Barker. Okay, no further discussion. I'll put that motion, then all those in favour please say aye. Contrary, no. Mr. Ewan McGregor on page 33 wants to review the tree species at Parkway Country Park, which Mr. Adey did in his lunchtime, I suspect, and has got an answer for him.
Well, I think what I've written there is probably as far as we can go at this stage. I mean, those pine trees are going to have to go at some stage. The trees that were planted aren't that successful. Some of them, some are, and we get in there with a chainsaw occasionally.
Given Mr. McGregor's age, he's probably looking for an improvement within the next 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think we can help him on that one.
Okay. No change to the plan, and Councillor Bevan seconds that. With those sage words, any speakers? A question?
As I understand it, there are plans for redevelopment across the road at some stage of the park design over there, and we've got council land there that needs to be rectified. And my question is, could we have a look at having a plan for trees, a proper architectural plan which would cover both sites in the long term, so that we can create something quite unique there?
Yeah, the across the road is conceptual only at this stage, so it's probably got a wee way to go. Don't have a problem if you want to put a couple $100,000 in the budget.
It's as easy as that.
But my point is that we're going to do something that side of the road. We've got plans on there. I just want them to tie it together.
Yeah,
To do something pretty smart.
Thank you. Excuse me, that's all part of the concept. Okay, other speakers? Councillor Hewitt.
I had some empathy with this request. I liked his vision, and I liked the concept of block plantings of trees. There's something quite noble about walking through a block of redwoods, so I support the endeavour over time in moving in this line.
Thank you. Further speakers? I will put the motion then. Oh, you wish to sum up?
Yeah,
yes.
Because, Mr. Chairman, we have management plans for all our parks. Nothing's done in a haphazard way, and everything is actually done very carefully thought out. And Mr. McGregor has put quite a few suggestions in the past and had quite an influence on some of the things that have happened there. Certainly, I think that the comments that he's made will be taken on board, but the fact is that we're not actually suddenly putting a budget into the plan to do anything different.
Okay. Thank you. I'll put that motion, and all those in favour please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. What are we now, page 30?